Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And welcome to RPtv. Today is January 8, 2020. The problems and dangers with vaping continue to plague teens and young adults throughout the state, so a new program has been developed with the hope of changing the trend. Colin has the report.
A new campaign sponsored by the Partnership for Drug-Free New Jersey and the Office of the State Attorney General involves the teens around the New Jersey area who are going back to school being warned by the danger of vaping. The campaign comes amid national reports of high number of teens using vaping devices or e-cigarettes, which the United States Surgeon General declared has reached epidemic levels. Over 20,000 people throughout the United States were hospitalized with severe lung injuries caused by vaping in December. The outbreak also was responsible for 55 deaths, according to the Department of Health. In New Jersey, there have been 53 confirmed and 46 portable cases of vaping-related illness and 1 death. The posters for the campaign have been distributed to every school in the state throughout the New Jersey area. The campaign images will appear on billboards, trains, and buses. The popularity of e-cigs and vapes among youth threatened to reverse hard-fought declines in adolescent smoking and create a new generation of nicotine addicts, said Attorney General Gerber S. Grewal in statement. We must raise public awareness about the dangers of vaping to prevent another deadly addiction epidemic taking root in our communities.
Iran did not wait very long to respond to America's attack on General Soleimani, as they unleashed a missile attack on the bases in Iraq. Let's go to Michelle for the latest details.
Iran struck back at the United States for the killing of a top Iranian general early Wednesday, firing a series of surface-to-surface missiles at 2 Iraqi bases housing U.S. troops and warning the United States and its allies in the region not to retaliate. U.S. officials confirmed the strikes, and there were no immediate word on injuries. Iranian state TV said the attack was in revenge for the killing of Revolutionary Guard General Qasem Soleimani. Iran's Revolutionary Guard warned the U.S. and its regional allies against retaliating over the missile attack. Wednesday's revenge attack came a few hours after crowds in Iran mourned Soleimani. U.S. embassies and consulates from Asia to Africa and Europe issued security alerts for Americans. According to a report on Tuesday by the semi-official Tasnim news agency, Iran has worked up 13 sets of plans to avenge Soleimani's death.
Now it's time for the announcements. Gay Street Alliance will be meeting today after school in room 18. All are welcome. Confidentiality is a must. Friends Club meetings. Today after school in room 3. New movie day, Ratatouille, Wednesday, January 15th, after school in the library. Wednesday, January 22nd, after school in room 3. Art Club and National Art Honor Society will be meeting Fridays after school in room 102 during the school year. We are working on projects and sometimes exploring new media. Join us. Attention all juniors. Check your school email for an important message regarding song suggestions for the Junior Gala. You can make suggestions via email or leave one in Ms. Hernandez's mailbox in the office. Gala will be held at Westwood and Garwood on Thursday, February 27th. The Guidance Department is pleased to be hosting a presentation by HBCU, Historically Black Colleges Universities, on Thursday, January 9th from 11:30 to 12:30 in the auditorium. The goal of the presentation is to expose students to the history, culture, and traditions of historically black colleges and universities, and educate college-bound students on how to be competitive applicants. The panel will discuss scholarship, campus life, and opportunities HBCU has to offer. Make every effort to attend this informative presentation. Union County 200 Club. This scholarship is for students who will be attending schools for a 4-year bachelor's degree, 2-year associate's degree, as well as technical schools. Final awards will be based on individual interviews with scholarship committee. Deadline March 2nd, 2020. Attention senior goals as future teachers. 3 scholarships shall be awarded this year, $1,000 each, and 2 additional educational awards in amount of $500 each. Applicants should have very good academic achievement, SAT score minimum of 980 or ACT score of 21 and a B average. Community service, extracurriculars, and honors or awards are all positives to include. A writing sample must be submitted. 2 letters of recommendation, if so, acceptance to your college. See Ms. Moore or Ms. Astuto in the guidance for application. Do not hesitate to apply for this if you meet the criteria. Yesterday, the girls basketball team picked up a big win by defeating Benedict Academy. Emma Selinsky led the way with 12 points and Alexis Selinsky had 11 points. Today, after school, the varsity bowling team will take on Union Catholic High School and the wrestling team will head to Rahway High School for a match starting at 6 p.m. for JV and 7 p.m. for the varsity.
Honesty may not get you a lot of friends, but it will get you the right friends. Honesty costs nothing. Lying can cost you everything.
Honesty works both ways. To give it is to receive it.
If you want to be trusted, just be honest.
Increasingly concerned. Colin has a report.
Nebraska residents have been experiencing something strange for the past month. For the last few weeks, groups of drones have been spotted over northeastern Colorado and southern Nebraska. U.S. officials are working closely with local authorities to try and identify the person behind these drones. They are reported to have a wingspan of 6 feet and fly in groups of 6 to 10 at a time. The Federal Aviation Administration answered questions to the public after a meeting on Monday. We take every drone sighting report seriously, they said in their statement. Multiple FAA divisions are working closely with the federal, state, and local stakeholders to try and determine whether the reported sightings in Colorado and Nebraska are drones, and if so, who is operating them and for what reason. Although the drones are being investigated, sheriff officials say it appears that no laws are being broken. Drone pilots are not required to file flight plans unless they are controlled in airspace, such as an airport.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Watching. Have a great day. Stay tuned for CNN 10.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for giving us CNN 10 minutes of your day. I'm Carl Azuz. This Wednesday's show starts in a U.S. island territory that's about 1,000 miles southeast of Miami, Florida. It's Puerto Rico, and the message from its governor to the people living there is be calm and be prepared for aftershocks. The southern part of the island was shaken by a 6.4 magnitude earthquake on Tuesday. That's powerful. It can cause a lot of damage, and it came one day after a 5.8 magnitude jolt. These were just the latest in a series of quakes that the U.S. territory has seen since late December. The U.S. Geological Survey has recorded hundreds of tremors within the past couple weeks. After Tuesday's quake, which was the biggest of them, Governor Wanda Vazquez-Garced declared a state of emergency and activated the Puerto Rico National Guard. Power was knocked out for people near the southern coast. Water service was knocked out to more than a quarter of the island's utility customers. The earthquakes also affected part of the island's topography. Punta Ventana, a rock formation and arch on Puerto Rico's southwestern coast, collapsed in Monday's quake. Parts of Puerto Rico are still recovering from a different kind of natural disaster that hit more than 2 years ago. Hurricane Maria, as a ferocious Category 4 storm, made landfall on the island in September of 2017. It ultimately affected all of Puerto Rico's residents in one way or another and caused tens of billions of dollars in damage. There's an international fight going on against Australia's bushfires or wildfires, and they're the worst blazes the country has seen in decades. They've flared up all over the continent. 24 people have died. Thousands of homes have been damaged or destroyed. Ecologists estimate that 500 million animals have been affected in some way. Officials say some of the fires started naturally when lightning struck drought-affected forests. But 24 people have been charged with intentionally lighting wildfires, and police say dozens of them might have been caused unintentionally, like when someone throws away a lit cigarette on dry ground. Australia's fire season typically coincides with its summer months, which it's in now, but an ongoing drought and high heat have made this one worse than usual.
We're on board the HMAS Adelaide, Australia's largest naval vessel, which has sailed into Eden Harbour here on the south coast of New South Wales. It came in yesterday under eerie skies filled with smoke. Today it is raining and very cold, which obviously is a reprieve for the firefighters who have been fighting those bushfires raging around here. As far as this vessel is concerned, they have been brought here to conduct any evacuations and provide any assistance necessary. This Seahawk behind me, it has been conducting reconnaissance missions throughout the day, traveling up and down the coastline, looking for any communities that have been cut off from the bushfires. Now, 3,000 Australian Defence Force personnel have been deployed to assist with the bushfire crisis. The government has come under extraordinary criticism and pressure, particularly the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison for his lack of leadership during this crisis. But the Australian Defence Force wants people to know that they are here, they are ready to help. Downstairs there are over 1,000 bunks and stretchers ready for any evacuees. There is a medical centre as well as supplies, food, water. As I say, the military says they are ready to help. These service members, they are Australians. It has been breaking their heart witnessing the scenes. They say they are proud to be here and to serve amongst the men and women fighting these bushfires. Anna Corrin, CNN, HMAS Adelaide, Eden, Australia.
10-second trivia. Guglielmo Marconi is best remembered for his work on what? Microwaves, telepathy, food science, or telegraphy? The Italian inventor devised a wireless telegraph that helped give rise to long-distance radio. The very idea of downloading a podcast to a smartphone would have blown his mind, but Marconi's Nobel Prize for helping develop telegraphy was awarded in 1909, so it's been a few years. One question now, with the popularity of podcasts on the rise, is whether companies that provide them can make them profitable. Do they make business sense? One popular streaming service is betting, but not promising that they do.
Spotify wants to be known for more than just music.
Our goal is to be the largest global audio network.
It's investing big in a whole new area, podcasts.
From the New York Times, I'm Michael Barbaro. This is The Daily.
I'm Steve Inskeep with Noel King, and this is Up First from NPR News.
People associate Spotify with music, so why move into podcasts?
You can't deny that podcasts has now become a very important factor in people's audio experience. The idea is for us to have a seamless platform across music and podcasts.
The streaming giant bought Gimlet Media, Anchor, and Parcast, 3 popular podcast companies for nearly $400 million. A large price tag considering the entire podcasting industry's ad revenue was less than $500 million in 2018. But the podcast industry is young and growing fast.
We recently announced something new for iTunes and iPod, and it's called podcasting. It's been described a lot of different ways. One way has been TiVo for radio.
Apple had you guys beat a little bit in terms of the timeline. They got into podcasts in 2005, and as a result, most people go to Apple. So how are you guys going to change that?
It's only been about 2 years, and we're already seeing 10% of our user base listening to podcasts. We're also very much dedicated to creating an atmosphere where creators, producers, writers want to be here exclusively. And so being able to offer an experience where they can not only make podcasts, get the data and insights that they need, and then in addition to that, expose their podcasts globally to a much larger audience is going to be a big game changer for us.
Season 4 of Startup is almost here. And we're starting off with some episodes about the company that makes this podcast, Gimlet Media.
Alex Bloomberg co-founded Gimlet and spent 4 years building it into one of the most popular podcast studios, launching hit series like Homecoming, Reply All, and Heavyweight. When Spotify first approached him, he was nervous.
It's a heavy thing to sort of like build a business and then sort of like hand over the reins.
Ultimately, it was the access to Spotify's resources that sealed the deal for him.
We just have so much more understanding of our audience and how they consume
podcasts. In the old world, people download the podcast and then you don't know what happens to it. You don't know when they listen to it, how much they've listened to, if they've even listened to it, and you don't know what else they've listened to. You don't know what their habits are. You can't sort of make any sort of assumptions about like, well, if they listen to this, then they'll also listen to the thing that we're making. You're just blind. And so as part of Spotify, because it's this huge platform of users, you can sort of see like this group listens to this music and they like this kind of podcast. That's one of the biggest advantages.
For now, Spotify's bet seems to be paying off. Podcast listeners spend nearly twice as much time on the platform than just music listeners. Eventually, the company expects 20% of all listening on the platform to be something other than music.
Our product teams have been working tirelessly to be able to deliver personalization to users on the podcast side the same way we do on the music side.
Even Spotify says it can't guarantee it will make a profit from podcasting. But for Ostroff, it's all about betting on the future.
The younger generation has really taken to it. And I always say, where the young people go, the older people follow.
On July 7th, 1999, a man in Utah bought a McDonald's hamburger for 79 cents. He didn't eat it. He carried it around as a demonstration of how hamburgers can deteriorate. But then it got stuck in a coat pocket and was forgotten, and the burger was just reopened more than 20 years later. The amazing thing about this is how it looks. Exactly the same. Only the pickle on the inside looks its age. The man says the burger smells like cardboard. A chef believes it dried so quickly that bacteria or mold didn't have time to grow into it. Does that make it an impossible burger? It's not a Whopper by any sense, but you can tell Wendy where the beef is. They could give the old burger to old McDonald to keep on the farm. At least the Chick-fil-A cows would be happy that no one ate it. But its owners are hoping it'll turn to gold if someone bullish on it offers to buy the burger, unless, of course, it's stolen by a Hamburglar. I'm Carl Azus for CNN.